I'm just start all over again. Cut. We'll edit this in post and totally fix it. Good morning, everyone. It's early here on the West Coast. President Trump is giving a press conference to brag about 13.3% unemployment. Black unemployment is actually up over last month. Asian unemployment up over last month, but he's going to brag about 13.3% unemployment. I've seen a little bit of this because I was listening to it as I was getting ready. I apologize to everybody. I had to reset. So as soon as I see somebody come into the chat room here, I think I've got this fixed. We've got the C-SPAN feed. For whatever reason, the YouTube TV feed sort of pooped out on us. There you are. Hey, Stephanie. So we're going to get going here. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is the live stream. We talk about what's going on in politics, and I'm not going to talk too much today because I still have people sleeping in the house because I'm West Coast. Yo, what up, West Coast? It's 8:26 in the morning here. Why are people sleeping? Lazies. Okay, here we go. Hey, Lizzie. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Cam. Let's get this going. Here we go. This is C-SPAN. Cross your fingers, cross your legs, hold it in. Here we go.
Affirmation of all the work we've been doing really for 3.5 years. This isn't just over the last few months. This is for 3.5 years. And it's a great thing. We were very strong. We had the
Always
greatest
touches the mic
economy in the history
needlessly.
of our country. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. And that strength let us get through this horrible pandemic, largely through. I think we're doing really well. Vaccines, by the way, had a meeting yesterday on vaccines. We're doing incredibly well with that.
We don't have a vaccine.
You're going to have some very positive surprises. And therapeutics, likewise, we're doing extremely well. Cures, we're doing well.
There are no cures for viruses.
Really blend in
it's not a thing.
With each other.
No virus has ever been cured.
Tremendous progress is being made on vaccines. In fact, we have ready to go in terms of transportation and logistics. We have over 2 million ready to go if it checks out for safety. And it's also, the nice part is we have 4 companies, I guess you could even say 7 or 8 companies that are doing
12.
Some similar and some very different on the vaccine front, and some similar and some somewhat different on the therapeutic front. So tremendous progress is being made on that, and I think even without that, and I have to say, even without that, and I don't think you're going to be having to use that in the future, that statement, even without, because I think they're going to have it. But we're going to be back,
I don't think
and
you have to use it now.
Our country, and I hope that the lockdown governors, I don't know why they continue to lock down, because if you look at Georgia, if you look at Florida, if you look at
California, they keep having record numbers every day of new cases, but yeah.
South Carolina, if you look at so many different places that have opened up, I don't want to name all of them, but the ones that are most energetic about opening, they are doing tremendous business, and this is what these numbers are all about. And you have to remember one other thing very importantly. I think it's extremely important for you to remember that many of our states are closed or almost closed. Some of the big ones, New York, New Jersey, they're starting now to get open, I hope. And I hope they also use our National Guard. Call me. We'll be ready for them so fast. Their heads will spin. We did it in Minnesota. In Minneapolis, we were incredible. They were ripping that place apart.
We did it at the Battle of Lafayette Park.
Success there.
We took out those peaceful rioters so quickly.
The National Guard went in, and one night it was over. You don't see the problem in Minnesota now at all, not even a little bit. You take a look at a great city, just a great city, Minneapolis, and it was under siege like nobody's ever seen, where people are running from a police department, the great police, and they were told to. They didn't want to run. They were told to. It's bad governing, and I'm not blaming the governor. I'm blaming the mayor. But we want to get all of this finished. This is a great tribute. What we're announcing today is a tremendous tribute to equality. We're bringing our jobs back. You know, when we had our tremendous numbers, and when we had just prior to the China plague that floated in, we had numbers the best in history.
I should turn my mic on if I'm going to talk. Sorry, guys. I'm just going back to bed. You guys watch. It's not a great day for diversity and minorities. It's unemployment among African Americans ticked up by 0.1%. Asian up. So the whites are doing better. So great job, everybody.
For African American, for Hispanic American, and for Asian American, and for everybody. Best for women, best for people without a diploma, young people without a diploma. I mean, so many different categories. Our numbers were the best in almost every category.
Except African Americans.
Working in the history of our country, almost 160 million people. We were never even close to that. So we had things that we were doing so well, and then it came in.
It was
but
just
we're
you,
going to be
Jim.
back there. I think we're going to actually be back higher
You're the problem.
next year than ever before. And the only thing that can stop us is bad policy. Frankly, left-wing, bad policy of raising taxes and Green New Deals and all of the things that you have been writing about long and hard. That will stop it like you wouldn't believe. And frankly,
Writing
it's
long
holding
and
it
hard.
back.
That's
If
some
there
hard
were no
writing going on there.
possibility that can happen, and I like to be an optimistic person. I think we're looking very good. I think even before today, the polls that I've seen and the polls that we do were looking very good. But if we didn't have the possibility of having massively higher taxes like the Democrats want to do, and Green New Deals, which are totally ridiculous, frankly, ridiculous. And I'm a big environmentalist. I believe strongly in taking care of our environment. We have the cleanest air we've ever had, like over the modern era, which let's say
when does the modern era start?
Years. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water we've ever had. We're setting
Not true.
all sorts of really good environmental records. We're very proud of that. But the Green New Deal would kill our country. The Green New Deal would have a devastating effect on the world. And it's not going to happen anyway because it's impossible for them to do it. If you ever look at what they want to do under the Green New Deal, it's
because you've never looked at what they want to do.
But we are doing something that this was an important day because this shows that what we've been doing is right. And the reason it's been and is so good is because the body was strong. Our body was so powerful that we could actually close our country.
You didn't.
Save millions of lives.
Governors
stop
did.
People very early on from China from coming in.
We didn't.
Because we stopped early, at the end of January, very early.
Nope.
People coming from China who were infected coming into our country. It was a very hard decision to make.
Obviously, we
nobody
didn't.
wanted me to make it. I would almost say nobody wanted me to make it. But we made that decision, and even my enemy said that was an extremely important. We saved tens of thousands of lives with that decision. So,
tens of thousands. A couple days ago, it was millions and millions. So, all right, maybe he's getting better. Is that possible for Trump?
We did a lot of things, and then we really ended up with empty cupboards. We went into a ventilator period that the likes of which nobody's seen since the Second World War. We mobilized. Nobody's ever seen anything.
Did we have ventilators in the Second World War? I'm not even going to fact check that.
Thing like it. And then we did tests. We're over 20 million, or very close, but I think we're over 20 million tests, more than anybody in the world. Germany is at about at 4, and South Korea is at 3.5. We're over 20. And by the way, when you do more testing, you have more cases. We have more cases than anybody because we do more testing.
Wait, what did he say about South Korea?
And South Korea is at 3.5.
No, South Korea is under 1 million. South Korea is at like 750,000, somewhere in that territory in terms of testing, because they tested early. Trump dropped the ball on that. The CDC developed a test that was contaminated. That's why we have 2 million cases.
We're over 20. And by the way, when you do more testing, you have more cases. We have more cases than anybody because we do more testing than anybody. It's pretty simple.
Good plan, Master.
But this is outstanding what's happened today. Now, they thought the number would be a loss of 9 million jobs, and it was a gain of almost 3 million jobs. Nobody's
What was I saying last week?
It was incredible in a couple of...
How is this a surprise to anyone? The country closes, some states start to open up, there's jobs, for example, cutting hair or giving tattoos if you're in Georgia. Okay, you guys can start working again. That increases the job. How is this confused? Why is he surprised? Why is anyone surprised?
Ways. Number one,
Is anyone out there? Are you guys surprised?
Numbers are great, and this leads us on to a long period of growth.
They're all
We'll have the
rallies.
greatest. We'll go back to having the greatest economy anywhere in the world. Nothing close. And I think we're going to have a very good
South Korean unemployment, 4.7 last time I looked. I didn't look today, but
upcoming few months. I think you're going to have a very good August, very good July, but a spectacular, maybe spectacular September, but a spectacular October, November, December, and next year is going to be one of the best years we've ever
I
had.
can't wait for November.
And if you look at the numbers, they bear it out. But we were strong. It's sort of like when you go in for an operation, if a person is healthy, we were healthy. We had the greatest economy in the world. We went in for an operation. We closed our country down. We closed it down. We saved possibly 2 million.
This is he's trying to do a metaphor. We have a body, and we went in for an operation, and then you close the country down. That
2.5 million lives. Now, it could have been 1 million lives. I don't think anything less
Could have
than
been.
that. But if you think we're at 105 million today, the 105,000 today,
okay.
that would mean at the lowest number, it would be 10 times that amount. And I think everybody believes the least, if we went herd, as they say, and if you look at Brazil, they're having a very hard time. And by the way, they kept bringing up Sweden. It's come back to haunt Sweden. Sweden's having a terrible time.
Yeah.
If we did that, we would have lost 1 million, 1.5 million, maybe even 2.5 million.
Nobody
more
wanted to
lives.
do that.
So
Except
we're at
you.
105,000
Remember,
lives.
ride it out like a
Big move
cowboy?
closing it up. We also closed it up to Europe. Europe became very infected from China. A
Europe
gift from
infected
China,
the
not good.
West
They should
East
have
Coast.
stopped it. They should have stopped it at the source. But it's a gift from China, and a very bad gift. I will tell you that. And you do say, how come at Wuhan, where it started, and they were they were in bad trouble, but it didn't go to any other parts. It didn't go to Beijing.
It did.
It didn't go to other parts
It
of
infected
China.
all the rest
Then
of
you
China.
say, how come it came out to Europe,
All
to the
right.
world, to the United States? So it didn't go to China. They stopped it cold. They knew it was a problem. But they didn't stop it cold from coming to the United States, Europe, and the rest of the world. Somebody has to ask these questions, and we'll get down to the answer.
questions have been asked, and the answer
we made
is,
a great
shut
trade
up.
deal. Great. They're going to buy
You're an idiot.
$250 billion worth of product. And by the way, they are online. They're doing okay. But the ink wasn't dry on that deal when the plague floated in. What's going on? A plague is floating in from China. What's going on? So the ink wasn't dry. So I guess
See all
I
those
view the
red
trade
dots?
deal a little bit differently than I did 3 months ago. It's a great deal. I will say they are buying a lot from us, and in that way I respect. And getting along with China would be a good thing. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'll let you know. We'll let you know. I think they want to get along very much with us. But we built a tremendous thing, a tremendous power platform. So when it got ill, when we had a problem, we were able to cut it off, stop it, just like this. Stop it.
You didn't. The
Keep
governor,
everyone
he didn't shut down
Inside,
anything.
keep them away, keep them together, away, uninfected. And we saved millions of lives. And now we're opening, and we're opening with a
Like-
bang. And
like
we've been
Trump
talking about
watches
the
this,
V.
Melissa.
This is better than a V. This is a rocket ship. This is far better than a V. A V is wonderful. A V is this. They were talking about, will it be
Does
a V,
anybody
a
draw their
U,
V's
an
like
L?
this?
They had no idea. And I was watching one of the shows, and I have great respect for the people. And they said, will it be 9 million in job losses? Will it be, what will be the number be? Will it be, are they going to report record
What will be the
numbers?
number
Will we
be?
break 20%? What will the number be? And, you know,
It's like a Dr. Seuss. What will be the number be?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because we were in, and I don't think we're in that territory anymore, we were in uncharted territory. Nobody's ever had a situation
Uncharted, not unchartered. Sounds like you're in a bar in New England. I'll take the uncharted.
like that. So the number was 9 million, and one of the people was getting, no, I think it's going to be 10 million. That's 10 million negative losses. And then somebody else said, no, we think it's going to be 8.7, 9.2. No, everyone was right around that number. This is great geniuses, and they are. I watch them all the time. And
Mike Pence is
oftentimes
back
they're
there.
right.
Mnuchin's
Warren
back there.
Buffett, sold airlines a little while ago. He's been right his whole life, but sometimes even somebody like Warren Buffett, I have a lot of respect for him, they make mistakes. They should have kept the airline stocks because the airline stocks went through the roof today, and others did too.
They?
The whole market went through the roof.
There's a roof.
they
It's
said
30,000.
9 million,
That's where we
9
almost
million
were. Right
job
now we're
losses, 9
27
million.
something.
It's what going to be. Are we going to break 20%? Are we going to break it? And then the numbers came in.
Yeah, it's a
and one of the
27.3.
folks that was reading the numbers said, wow, this is a great number. It's only 3 million job losses. And then
Well, that's an
reading it, I
idiot.
said, you know, I don't think this, I'm not reading this right. Let me look at it again. Oh, wait a minute. This is 3 million gain almost. 3 million jobs gained.
He's literally bragging that his people telling him the numbers don't know how to read numbers.
And then they shouted out, one of them sort of semi-shouted out, is this a
Semi-shouted.
typo? I think it was probably the greatest miscalculation in the history of business shows. The history of business shows talking about Wall Street.
Was he not around for 2008?
And that's okay. But one of the reasons we're in this position is because we had such a strong foundation. So we were able to close our country, save millions of lives, open, and now the trajectory is great. Don't forget, New York is barely included, and that's one of our big ones. California is barely included because they're not open,
Okay.
and they should open. By the way, the mayor of Los Angeles wants to keep this thing closed for a long time. Look at
Thank
what's
you,
going
Shannon,
on in Florida.
from the experts.
It's incredible. The job the governor of Florida has done, it's incredible. The numbers they're doing. You've got to open it up, and you do social distancing, and you wear masks
It's
if
an
you want.
excellent question, David.
And you do things. You can do a lot of things. You're getting closer
Larval
together.
stage.
Even you, I notice you're starting to get much closer together. It looks
Oh,
much better,
yeah.
I must say. Not all the way.
So what he's talking about there is the press is now sitting back together tightly, like maybe a foot apart, but you know how they were all spaced out? Well, the White House has decided that social distancing is done. Just everybody sit on back together. We're hearing about outbreaks all around the country, but in not just meatpacking plants, but like a 911 call center. They just had an outbreak where a third of the people, half the people, whatever it is. Again, it's early. And the White House just said, okay, everybody, we're sitting back together again. They'll show it when there's questions. But anyway, that's social distancing is done because we got bored.
There yet, but you'll be there soon. But it's a tremendous thing that happened, and the reason it happened is because we had a really strong patient. We had a patient that was so powerful, so
Back to the
strong,
metaphor.
that we could close it and open it. And I give it this analogy. Somebody told me yesterday, it was
Okay, analogy?
Larry Kudlow. He said, sir, this is like a hurricane. And we were worried. We didn't know, is this going to be a hurricane
that's a simile.
or a major, major recession? A major recession that's not artificially caused, because this was artificially closed. We just said, boom, closed. And everything just stopped.
I just called it a hurricane the other
And
day.
also, you know what else
That was
stopped?
me.
Big numbers on death by doing it. And that's why I had to do it. We've made every decision
He
correctly.
didn't
But
do
it was
anything.
like we stopped. So it was an artificial closing. And then what happened, very incredibly, is the numbers go, and Larry was saying that with a hurricane,
Here I
you have a
am.
horrible hurricane in Florida or Texas,
Rock me
and
like
it's
a hurricane.
devastating. And then the hurricane goes away, and within 2 hours, everyone's rebuilding and fixing and cleaning and cutting their grass. And I've
Yeah, just ask Puerto Rico. Hurricane? 2-3 days later, back to normal.
seen it in Texas. I've
Texas.
seen it everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. Texas had a massive one. Louisiana.
Puerto Rico,
hurricanes.
Puerto
Florida,
Rico,
hurricanes.
big water.
But what happens is right after the hurricane,
Yeah.
boom, and this is what this is.
Boom. Everything
This is
explodes.
In a terrible recession. I don't even mention the D word. I don't talk about the D word.
Douche?
I don't want to talk about it.
Melania talks about the D
Every
word all
time
the
somebody
time.
even mentions it, I don't like the D word. But if you had a really, really big,
Donald?
bad recession, it could take 10, 12. How long did it take in 1929? It took many years to recover
10, 11
from
years.
that. How many years? How long? Yeah, 10. I heard
World War II.
10. I think longer than 10, but that's okay. I heard 14, 15 years. Larry says 10, so let's go with
He
10.
asked the cut and then he
But it
corrects
takes a
him.
long
That's okay.
time to recover. But a hurricane, you're back in business in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and it's devastating and it's hard. And this
Yeah.
was a hurricane. And it's going to get better fast because a lot of the numbers that you see, they're early numbers. They're not even from this last month. And by the way, speaking of that, You had the greatest 50-day rally in the history of our exchanges. The greatest 50-day rally.
That's actually true.
And we have...
But what the hell is a 50-day rally?
A lot of protesters.
When you go down 12,000 points.
And we have something else, right? We
What?
have something else. We
What
have
do
a
we have?
pandemic.
Uh-huh.
We've made tremendous progress, really on both. If you look at where we've come on both, we've made tremendous progress on both.
107,000 dead.
Progress. But you're looking, and the people are now starting to return to work. So it's been an incredible thing to see. It's been a beautiful thing to see. The experts predicted that the economy would lose tremendous numbers of jobs. And, of course, from the beginning it has, but you're going to see how fast that's made up. I'm telling you, next year, unless something happens.
Yeah? What is it?
Where the wrong people get in here, this can turn around. Your 401ks will go down.
Say his name.
To numbers. If people didn't get rid of stocks and their
Your 401k
401ks,
can go down to numbers.
Think of it. With a pandemic.
Yep.
And with one of the worst things that's ever happened, our country's never lost 105,000 people.
Yeah.
Whether it's World Trade Center, which
not
was
even under
2,900,
Lincoln. Yeah.
Or Pearl
You're the
Harbor,
only
which
president.
was less than that.
Yeah.
We've never lost anything close to this.
No,
but
we
it's not only our
haven't.
country; it's the whole world. The world is
actually we
suffering
did in
so
the
badly.
1917 flu.
186 countries at this moment, and that affects us too. But we're a positive force. We're the key to the world in a sense, and the fact that we're doing well, I see already they're starting to do much better in other parts of the world. That's a great thing, because we're working with the world. And we'll work with
Yeah, I don't know
China,
about
too.
the dentist.
We'll work with everybody.
As long as they're practicing
What
social
happened
distancing.
should have never happened. So we had a tremendous
I need to go to a dentist.
morning, a tremendous announcement.
I need to
It
go to
was
some sort of
shocking to
dermatologist.
even great pros. I watched Maria Bartiromo. I watched Jim Cramer. I watched a lot
Bartiromo?
of people. Joe
Bartoloma?
Cunin, he was pretty
he trying to say-
positive. Charles Payne, he was very positive for a long time.
You're a
A
pain.
lot of people got it right. They had confidence in me. They had confidence in this team, and they got it right. I think that's the only thing they could base it on, because we were on uncharted territory. It's I'd like to
Uncharted.
just say that renewal, restoration, and recovery of the most vulnerable areas of America is going to be my focus. It's going to be a big focus, because it's taking care of itself, but we have to help.
No, it's not.
that
African
very
American unemployment
vulnerable area.
up.
They're vulnerable.
Up.
It's not right, and we're helping them, and we have helped them in
Like
the
a-
past. And
like
we're
a
also
V.
to opportunity zones, criminal justice reform. Nobody's ever done for the black community what President Trump has done. Think of it.
You're President
Historically,
Trump. You
Black, small colleges and universities. They would come here for money every
when
year.
he talks
every
about
year
himself
for
in the
many,
third
many
person,
years.
it upsets
After
Kevin.
3 years, I said, "Why are you doing this? Why do you keep coming here?" They said, "Because we come." I said, "Don't you get a long-term deal so you don't have to come?" The head of one of the very respected colleges looked at me and said, "Sir, we're like beggars. Every year we have to come to Washington and beg for money." I said, "You
David,
should
the
have a
most
long-term deal."
vulnerable
And we signed a
vulnerable
long-term
were
deal,
gassed?
so they don't have to come.
Because
I'll
it was
miss them. I
Ivanka's-
told
yeah,
them,
look at
I'll
them.
miss
They're all-
I got to know them.
they're all bunched
But the
together
first year,
there.
I didn't think anything
Like
of
it
it.
used to
The
be.
second year, I said, "That's strange. Why are you
And
here?"
are they not
And then
wearing
the third
masks?
Year, not so long ago.
What the hell
same
is going
people,
on, people?
The heads of the historically
Paula.
black
Is that Paula?
small
Put on a
colleges
mask.
and universities. 44
Oh,
people.
no, I'm sorry.
maybe
She
a
has
little
one.
more than
It's
that, a little
Chanel
less than
Rion.
that, sometimes.
Hold on. Let's go back.
But the heads
You
of
shut up.
the historic to know them. But the
Yeah. So there's masks everywhere except right here. I bet that's Chanel Rion. I could be wrong. And is she not? I don't think she's wearing a mask. And then I think that's Paula, and she has one. But yeah, look at them. They're all just back to normal. Everybody, we got bored, so the pandemic's done.
The first year, I didn't think anything of it. The second year, I said, "That's strange. Why are you here?" And then the third year, not so long ago, the same people, the heads of the historically black small colleges and universities, 44 people, maybe a little more than that, a little less than that sometimes. But after 3 years, I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "The past administration did nothing for us.
Really?
The administration
they said
before
that.
that did nothing for that.
Oh,
So I'm going to do it."
All
So we
those
did
billions of dollars.
The opportunity zones
Nothing.
with Senator Tim Scott, who's been fantastic. And by the way, it's one of the great unknowns because the opportunity zones you don't talk about. It's one of the most incredible success stories ever in terms of the inner cities and in terms of black and Hispanic and Asian unemployment. Opportunity zones. You ought to do some stories about opportunity zones. Billions and billions of dollars of private money are being invested in putting people to work and getting money that they've never made before. So it's been really a terrific thing. It's now time for us to work together as we rebuild, renew, and recover the great promise of America. And that's true. We're going to work together. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. Some governors may need a little help yet, but I think for the most part they're in good shape. We have fantastic military. We have fantastic National Guard. National Guard was barely used. And these people have done an unbelievable job. They helped the Secret Service at Washington. Secret Service, by the way, are unbelievable. The job they did at the White House is unbelievable. There was never any form of like, oh, gee, this sounds dangerous. All I could see is what I was seeing on television.
Because you'd expect that from the Secret Service. Hey, guys who are trained to jump in front of bullets, we would like you to gas civilians. Oh, gee, that sounds dangerous.
They were outside, and the Secret Service was incredible, but we were also helped by the D.C. police, and we were helped by the National Guard. Was unbelievable. They came in, and this was like
shot
a piece of
the
cake.
protesters.
And I really am suggesting, because if you look at Minnesota and the great success we had
That's
there,
right. Build a new
and other
fence,
places,
Susan.
I'm suggesting to some of these governors that are too proud in New York. I mean, you see what's going on there. Don't be proud. Get the job done. You'll end up looking much better in the end. Call in the National Guard. Call me. We'll have so many people, more people than you have to dominate the streets. You can't let what's happening happen. It's called dominate the streets. You can't let that happen in New York where they're breaking into stores and all of the things. And by the way, hurting many small businesses. You can't let it happen. Equal justice under the law.
I think Trump's still sleeping.
Must mean that every American receives equal treatment in every encounter.
Mexico's paying for the fence.
Regardless of race, color, gender, or creed, they have to receive fair treatment.
Yeah.
From law enforcement. They have to receive it. We all saw what happened last week.
Yep. What's your plan?
We can't let that happen. Hopefully George is looking down right now and saying there's a great thing that's happening for our country. There's a great day for him. It's a great day for everybody.
It's not a great day for George.
It's a great day for everybody. This is a great, great day.
It's not a great day for everybody. People are dead.
It's really what our Constitution requires, and it's what our country is all about. I just want to finish by saying, to save the economy, we passed several pieces of critical legislation totaling many trillions of dollars, meaning 3. We're set up to do more if we want. I think we should, because we are dominant. For many
on the
years
streets?
As a bystander, but somebody that loved government, somebody that loved this country, I would watch and study and see and just
watch and study.
When I say
just
study,
you just watch.
Study by watching.
Yeah.
But if you go back,
I talked over that. But this is
that
funny.
loved this country, I would watch and study and see and just when I say study, naturally study by watching.
Naturally study by watching. So I spend most evenings studying HBO. Actually, it's Showtime right now, which is free. So go get yourself some free Showtime, people. And then when you cancel, they give you 30 days more. You're welcome.
But if you go back, China was going to catch us in 2019. And that was like a given. You go back 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
It was 2024.
Yeah, China will catch America, catch the United States, and in 2019. And then it'll become the dominant economy.
Okay, to be fair, it depends on when you looked at the projections. But back in 2016, the projections were 2023, 2024.
It happened. It's not going to happen. We dominated them over the last year and a half, 2 years. We took in tens of billions of dollars in tariffs.
We didn't.
That they paid for.
No. Importers paid the tariffs.
I gave some of that money, just a small fraction, to our farmers, which made them whole. More.
How generous, giving a small fraction to the farmers.
Than whole.
No,
that's
didn't
why
make
they're
them
all
whole.
in business.
But record bankruptcies with the farmers, record debt with the farmers.
Made them more than whole, and it came right out of the tariff money. And the reason we didn't pay is because China devalued their currency, and they paid. Plus, they also put additional money to it.
That's not how it works. That also, when China devalues a currency by like 2 points, that also boosts the American dollar, which then makes it harder for our exporters to sell their goods overseas because our dollar's worth more and our products cost more. So, great job, Trump.
Because if they didn't do that, nobody would have bought their product. We made a great deal because of that. That's the only reason we're able to make a good deal, because of the possibility of tariffs. Because China's taken tremendous advantage of the United States. We helped rebuild China. We gave them $500 billion a year. How stupid
Never
are
did.
the people that represented our country with China and many other countries. But that's all changing. And it was in the process of changing very big. You know, again, China had a very bad year before the plague.
China.
And now I think hopefully they're going to have a great year. I want them to have a great year, but we're going to have better years than they ever had. We have a better system, much better system. We made Americans sure of themselves, and we took care of families. We gave benefits, and we sent $1,200 to every individual making less than $75,000 and $4,000 almost dollars to every family of four earning less than $150,000. That's a lot, isn't it? You know, when you think 150, but that's what's happening with our country.
What?
If you look at other countries, even countries that you think they're doing well,
I know, Julie.
Talk about
Hi, Julie.
150,000 as being median.
So I predicted Trump would win back in 2016. This is my friend Julie, who's in the chat room now on the Facebooker. And the night of the election, I was talking to her, and I was like, no, it all depends on Florida. No, Hillary could win. And I'm like, oh, God. So I lied to Julie. I did think Trump would win, which I posted on Facebook. And you can go to my Facebook page, and you can see a few days before the election, actually starting September 11th, I said Trump's going to win this thing because the Electoral College. It's not who the American people choose. It's the Electoral College. And it's stupid math, but, I mean, when you have stupid math, look at what you get. This is what you get. Speaking of stupid math, so, confession, I did lie to Julie. And, Julie, I appreciate you still being my friend. But it's funny because my predictions of Trump winning on Facebook, nobody liked them. There are no likes on those particular posts. Not that I checked my likes.
$150,000. Countries, even countries that you think they're doing well, they don't talk about 100.
I didn't say there was no way he could win, Julie. I like Julie. Julie's great. Everybody say hi to Julie. Julie is, she actually has the greatest dogs.
150,000 as being median.
What? Hold on.
If you look at other countries, even countries that you think they're doing well, they don't talk about 150,000 as being median. $150,000. That's tremendous. That's a great tribute to the people of our country.
No, our median income is not $150,000. Our median income is somewhere in the 40s, like 40, 41, somewhere. What the? He thinks the average American makes $150,000. What a fucking moron. He thinks you need grocery ID, he doesn't know how to drive a car, and he thinks the average American makes $150,000. Man of the people.
The job surge that we're seeing right now is widespread. Leisure and hospitality added 1.2 million jobs. Construction jobs are up, listen to this, 464,000. Education and health services rose 424,000. Retail trade is up 368,000. And here's the one I like the best. Remember, previous administration, that you need a magic wand for manufacturing.
That's not what Obama actually said. I'm not going to get into that. And I understand the difference. There's a difference between a median and a mean. Stop being mean, or stop being median.
Manufacturing, which we had up to 600,000 jobs prior to the plague, manufacturing rose to 225,000 jobs, up by. So we picked up 225,000 manufacturing jobs. That's very unexpected. Everything that you've seen this morning is unexpected. Even the pros sitting here would understand that.
No, it is not. This is exactly what everyone thought would happen.
On the unemployment rate, the prediction was
unexpected for him. This is how. Remember, and nobody knew that healthcare could be so confusing and complicated. No, everyone who's ever had to fill out. He's never had to fill out a single form in his life for getting himself health care. He's got people for that because Daddy made him a millionaire by the time he was 8. Man of the people. But it's okay because I've got $150,000.
Was that the unemployment rate would rise to over 20%, and instead it dropped to around a little more than 13%. Slight difference. And
13% unemployment. Winning.
Comeback in American history. Today is probably, if you think of it, the greatest comeback in American history. But it's not going to stop here.
It's not. The
it's
40s
going to
were.
Keep going because so many places are closed. I was watching our great vice president today being interviewed on CNBC. He did a phenomenal job, and he made a statement.
Did he, though?
He said, this is not going to stop, and 100%. He's always attributing everything to me, but I'll attribute this statement to him. He said it's not going to stop because the numbers that you're looking at don't include all of those states that are closed. They haven't even opened yet. We're going to be stronger than we were when we were riding high. And our stock market
someday
is almost, it's just short of an all-time high. I've had 144
it's 2,000 away.
all-time high stock markets during a 3.5-year period. Nobody's ever
and one of the
close to
greatest
that. And we're
drops in
gonna do it
history
again.
because you
But
didn't
it's gonna
test.
Be even stronger than last time. When I would say that to you 2-3 months ago, I could see what's happened. I have a good feel. I've always done well with numbers.
Really?
But I had a feel for it. I said it even the other day. I was saying I think we're going to have a tremendous next year. I think it's going to be a phenomenal next year. I didn't know it was.
The man who's gotten the number of countries with the plague, which is a number you can just look up. The man who's gotten that number wrong every time but once. Good with numbers.
Start this quickly. I thought we'd start in August, September, but it started very early. Amazing. It's an amazing thing, but it
So
means
you were
that
wrong.
they're likely to return, and all of these jobs that we're talking about now aren't even included because some of our biggest places aren't
That's
open.
not the median income,
They're opening
Random,
up
is it?
now. I think New York's opening up like as of today, and that's one of our big ones. New Jersey. They're all working hard. The governors are all working hard. To save millions of American lives, we took that unnecessary evil, we took it out of the equation. We had to do what we did. We had a very, very strong push not to do anything. We would have lost.
Did the sun just go down?
People. But very importantly, the economy wouldn't have been as good as it is because nobody expected this. I don't think there's anybody sitting here that can say, I want to see it on tape, as opposed to just saying,
I have it
okay.
on tape.
But some were predicting pretty good numbers, people I mentioned.
Yeah, some were.
But we took a tremendous step and a tremendous
But again, what's pretty good? 13.3%? A rise in the black unemployment numbers? Are those pretty good numbers?
risk. And we've gone up at a level, and this level is going to be nothing compared to what you see in coming months, and especially next year.
Hi, JC.
So the best strategy to ensure the health of our people moving forward is to focus our resources on protecting high-risk populations like the elderly and those in nursing homes, while allowing younger and healthy Americans to get back to work immediately and open up our schools, open them up.
The PHS.
We understand this disease now. We didn't understand it. Nobody's ever seen it before.
No, we're still
Very
learning.
tough, very contagious, very mean to certain people.
Very mean.
We've learned a lot. We didn't know.
He means very median.
Nobody knew anything about it. But we learned a lot. And I have to thank
Well, it didn't
everybody
exist.
for working so hard. Jared and Mike and the task force.
thank
and
you,
all
Jared.
Of the people, the admiral, the general. They were
It's
saying, oh, you should use
Jared.
admirals. I said, I did. You should use generals. I said, I did. Used them both. We had some incredible.
There you go. So, median, thank you at random. Thank you, guitar. Median household income. That's household income. I think, okay, even if he was talking about household income, but yes, $62,000. The mean is going to be somewhere around 40. Two different numbers. I understand how that works. Yes, nowhere near 150,000. And so the other countries aren't quite as jealous as Trump thinks they are. But, you know, that's what it's all about. Jealousy and friendships. Because why? Because he never had any friends when he was a child.
People on the task force. The job they did in getting ventilators built by the thousands, we're giving to Nigeria.
Debbie, is that a true thing? Good morning, Joanna. Is that a real thing, Debbie, that the D.C. mayor just renamed the road by the White House to Black Lives Matter Plaza? Which he calls Black Lives Matters?
Nigeria to France, to Spain, to Italy, to many, many countries.
What?
To UK, they're having a hard time.
Oh.
We're giving them ventilators. It's a great thing. I mean, they're very hard to make. They're long-term items. We mobilized. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Just like the Second World War. There hasn't been a mobilization like this.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Just like the Second World War.
Since the Second World War, especially ventilators, because it's hard. It's big, it's complex, very complex machinery, computerized all over the place, and very expensive. And we're building thousands a week. Right now, we're building thousands a week. We have all we can use. No governor, you hear the calls, you listen in on those calls. Frankly, you're invited to if you want, but you do anyway, even if you're not invited. And you see what's going on. Every governor, there's not been one patient in this entire massive country, and we didn't have ventilators when we started. The cupboards were empty. The previous administration left us empty cupboards. There isn't one patient, not one.
That's not true. We had 13,000 ventilators.
That didn't get one. Think of that. And we took
patients who stayed home.
Millions of people, big country.
Or were too scared to go to the hospital.
Millions of people. Not one person needed a ventilator that didn't get it.
That's absolutely not true. There's literally no way to quantify that.
Continued blanket
we don't know.
Lockdown to end for these states.
So there's the WAPO headline I just showed you that they didn't expect, at least whoever wrote that headline didn't expect job numbers to come down. I did. A lot of people did. But anyway, so WAPO. I sit corrected.
We may have some embers or some ashes, or we may have some flames coming, but we'll put them out. We'll stomp them out.
We didn't start the fire.
We'll stomp them out, and we'll stomp them out very, very powerfully. So we've made a big step in our comeback. This was always going to be, 3 months ago I said to you, this is a very important period, this June period, because we're going to learn whether or not this is a very big, powerful R word, recession, or whether this is a hurricane that we recover from very quickly. We recover from in a matter of
He didn't call it a hurricane
days.
3 months ago.
And we've learned. Again, as good as these numbers are, the best numbers are yet to come because so many areas are still closed or very partially closed.
Yeah,
very few actually.
Things will get better.
These numbers are with states, 50 states, and very few are fully opened. Even the ones that are very out there are not fully opened. So we're going to have some tremendous numbers coming in. When you look at the ridership in the airlines, what they've gone, they went from 2% to a number that, if it's correct, I'd be surprised, actually. But it's a very high number. It's great.
Are you going to give us that number?
And you know what? They're traveling in the United States. And they're also driving. And they're building the trailers. They're building a lot of things. They're driving. People are driving. I may have to buy one of those things, drive around town. Maybe I'll drive back to New York with our First Lady in a trailer. What do they call that? RV. An RV. An RV.
I commented on this early because I heard it when I was waking up, that the man of the people doesn't know what you call an RV. Let's listen again, shall we?
Maybe I'll drive back to New York with our First Lady in a trailer.
In a trailer.
What do they call that? An RV.
An RV.
Well,
man of the people.
Indiana's the capital of RVs. I think I'm going to buy an RV and travel from now on in an RV with our First Lady.
Yeah, please
I don't
do.
think anybody would mind that.
Go anywhere.
So we've come together.
Just leave.
We're coming together. We've never had a thing happen like this. We were all, including the media, we were all in uncharted territory.
Uncharted?
Never happened before.
Uncharted.
I couldn't be sure. I felt it.
Sure.
I felt we were very powerful to come back. Hardest decision I ever made was when they all walked in, a big group of people, professionals, very professional people, good people. They said, "Sir, the best thing we can do is close it
Fake story.
down." I said, "What are you talking about?"
And he didn't close it
We have this
down.
incredible, unbelievable country that's never done better, and you want us to close it down? I can't do that. What are you talking about?
He didn't. He literally
And
can't
after
do it.
listening for 10 minutes, didn't take long, I said, I think we have to close it down. Because of the contagion and because of the power it had with especially certain people. Now, we didn't know the second part. We knew it was highly contagious because it spread like fire. But we didn't know that it hit certain groups of people. That helps us so much in testing and other things. So we're going to protect our
It hits everyone.
elderly. We're going to protect especially our elderly with problems, whether it's heart or diabetes or any problem. It's like a magnet. I mean, you're elderly and you have diabetes or you have a bad heart, it's like a magnet. They say if you're heavy, so I say, thank goodness I'm in perfect shape. Thank goodness. But if you're heavy, it's not good. It's a brutal, brutal thing. And again, I started by saying we're going to have a vaccine soon. I said it a long time ago, based on knowledge. Based on knowledge, I'm meeting with these geniuses. Based on knowledge, I said a long time ago. I said by the end of the year. I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that. And you know, just in finishing about vaccines, we have mobilized the logistics arm of our military. We can move hundreds of thousands of men and women in a very short time. The vaccine is easy by comparison, but we can move hundreds of thousands. It's meant for war.
It's true,
Not
Debbie.
meant for this, but we have our war with the invisible enemy.
He could drive to
It's
Hawaii.
meant for war, but we can move hundreds of thousands. Think of that. Hundreds of thousands in a very short time. The same people are doing the vaccine, and they're fully mobilized. So now I'm going to sign legislation to make important changes to the PPP that will especially help restaurants, hotels, and other businesses that have been very hard hit by the virus. This is going to make...
Fans of the live stream will remember when he met with executives from the restaurant industry, and they all said, hey, can you stretch out PPP to 24 weeks instead of just the 8 weeks? Because that would make sense for us and really help us. And he was like, no, guys, I think it's really more important to have the tax deductibility for corporations. You know, large corporations go to meals. That would really help you guys more. And every single one of the restaurateurs said, no, really, we need the PPP. And even at the end of the meeting, he still wasn't convinced. So Congress had to pass this, and they just pushed it through because it makes perfect sense.
24 months, and I think you know the legislation as well as I do. I want to thank the Democrats. We had essentially unanimous votes, I think, in the Senate and the House. Right?
Thanks, Democrats.
Whether it's unanimous or very close, it's a lot of people. But I want to thank the Democrats. We worked together on it great, and I hope we can get along with the Democrats. It's been a disaster in terms of relationship. But I hope we can get along because it's a great thing for our country.
Well, maybe stop insulting their designer ice cream.
We have the greatest economy we've ever had. It will soon be greater than it was even before. We did this with discord. We did this with a Senate and a House.
Shout out to Discord.
We're not dealing
Slack's going to be mad.
Us. And we weren't dealing with them either. The level of
animosity?
Let's just say the warlike posture is ridiculous because
warlike posture.
We have a great country. It would make a difference if we could get along. And maybe we can and maybe we can't. I mean, there are a lot of differences.
Way to go out on a limb there, buddy.
We want closed borders. We want people to come in, but they have to come in through merit. They want open borders. You can't have open borders, especially now when you have a pandemic. We set a record, by the way, on our southern border. The wall, which you never hear about, is up to 210 miles long. And one of the reasons we're setting a record is we have so much wall built. And we'll have it up to almost 500
because we have 2 million cases.
Very early next year. By the end of this year, we'll be over 400 miles. We're up to 210 miles of serious wall.
He said previously it'll be more than 500.
Penetrating. This is a very, very powerful wall. Going to be up there a long time. And it's saved us a lot of anguish and grief, but you don't hear about that. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do is get the money necessary, which is billions of dollars.
Everything's the hardest thing he's ever had to do. It's so sad for him.
The military we could rebuild wasn't easy in terms of that. That's not their natural instinct. But for the wall, no, you can't have it, can't have it, can't have it. We had 9 court cases on the wall, but we won and we got it. And now nobody talks about it. Nobody even talks about it. But it's great for our country. We have to have borders. And I've said often, I said long before I won on that great November day.
Let's talk about the election.
Like a long time ago, 2016. I said,
God, it does seem like a long time ago. He's right.
Borders,
fact check.
You don't have a country. So we have a lot of things.
Still have a country without borders.
If we could work along with them, it would be great. If we don't, we're going to do great as a country anyway. We're going to do great anyway.
All right.
If we could work along with the Democrats, and I'm open to it. People say I wouldn't be open. Why would I be open? They did things that they should have never done. And you know what I'm talking about. Should have never done. But I'm totally open to it. But we could go even steps further. But it's already been historic. Nobody has done more in 3.5 years than this administration has done. Nobody has come close to doing the things we've done.
Nobody's killed as many Americans.
We've cut regulations at a level that nobody's even come close to.
What about choice?
And
What about
that's whether
Obama's
it's 4
choice?
years, 8 years, or in
You
one
gonna take credit
case,
for it?
even more than that. Nobody's done anything close. Regulations, low taxes, rebuilt military, take care of our vets. We got choice approved for the vets.
There it
so
is.
instead of waiting
Obama, 2014. Trump continually takes credit for choice.
in line for 4 weeks to see a doctor, they can go immediately outside, get a private doctor. We pay for the bill, and the vet is in great shape. And we actually save money, but more importantly, we save their lives, and we save the quality of their life. They were dying. They would come onto a line, they'd have to wait 4 or 5 weeks. They wouldn't be very sick. By the time they see the doctor, they'd be terminally ill. We don't have that anymore. You don't hear any bad stories about the vets anymore. That doesn't mean go out and find them, because tonight you'll be traveling all over the world looking for an unhappy vet.
That doesn't mean go out and do your jobs.
And we got accountability because we had a lot of bad people in the VA. It's called VA accountability, where we can now fire people that don't treat our vets good. We have sadists, we have thieves, we have a lot of bad people. And we can now, it's called VA accountability. Almost 50 years they've been trying to get it. Choice, almost 50 years they've been trying to get it. For many, many years. I've been hearing about it for years. They've been trying to get
Probably heard about it in 2014 when it was passed.
VA choice. Choice means you can have a choice of a doctor. You don't have to wait in line if you have a long line. I have to say the VA has great doctors, but you can't get to them very quickly. Now they go outside and they take care of themselves. So we've had a great morning. This is just the beginning. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to sign our very important piece of legislation. Again, thank you very much to the Democrats. And then we're going to have a couple of words by a
Thank you very much to the Democrats. Somebody capture
few
that.
of the people standing alongside of me. I want to thank them so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Police accountability. Is that what this is about? You're talking nonsense, David.
I'd like to sign this bill. This is a very different thing. And by the way, what's happened to our country and what you now see, it's been happening, is the greatest thing that can happen for race relations, for the African American community, for the Asian American, for the Hispanic American community, for women, for everything.
What's your plan?
Because our country is so strong, and that's what my plan is. We're going to have the strongest economy in the world. We almost are there now.
What's your plan? The country is so strong, and that's my plan.
We had the strongest economy because our country is so strong, and that's what my plan is. We're going to have the strongest economy in the world. We almost are there now. We had the
My plan is to be the best and to have the strongest cake, the most beautiful cake. It'll have 5 layers, and we...
strongest economy anywhere in the world, and now we're going to have an economy that's even stronger.
Sir, how would a better economy?
I'd like to sign this.
Yeah, just to follow up, how would a better economy have protected George Floyd? Sure, I'll ask after. Will you take questions after, sir?
How will a better economy have helped George Floyd?
Black unemployment went up by 0.1%. Asian American unemployment went up by 0.5%. How is that a victory?
I think that's Yamich.
You are something.
How is that
Could
a
be
victory?
wrong. You are something, is his response. I think to Yamich Alcindor. I can't be sure that's her voice. But we're at the point where I'm recognizing reporters and senators by voice.
Unemployment went up by 1%.
A better economy.
I need a job.
Yeah, just to follow up, how would a better economy have protected George Floyd? Sure, I'll ask after. Will you take questions after, sir?
Black unemployment went up by 0.1%. Asian American unemployment went up by 0.5%. How is that a victory?
You are something.
How is that a victory?
Thank you very much.
Pence just starts clapping like the monkey. Ding, 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 little cymbals. They should give him cymbals. I would love it I would watch everything if they would just give Mike Pence cymbals.
I have to say, though, it's been an honor. This is such a great
How does a guy with a signature that goes like this not know what a V looks like?
achievement. Feel so good about it. This is just the beginning.
Go to the
Best is
microphone.
yet to come.
Go to the
Mike,
microphone.
would you say a few words, please?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and today's a great day for America.
Here comes the monkey.
The American comeback begins today.
Does it?
And, Mr. President, it is a tribute to the strong decisions that you made early on to put the health of America first.
You know, the lack of testing for 6 weeks.
Distancing, provide
Yeah.
a test in the coronavirus task force. They're
Hey, if anybody wants to watch Mike Pence, let me know, and I'll ignore it.
also a tribute to us to give people to think. President is direction. Join you in thankfully today.
Strong leadership, broad-shouldered, the president.
And
Okay.
And I think very importantly, because it's a great state, and you have so many great states involved with energy.
Thanks, Random.
But we had basically a disaster just a month ago. We had a disaster with respect to energy. It was down to zero. It was worthless. And that's 5 million jobs, maybe much more than that indirectly.
That's oil.
Probably close to 10 million jobs, energy jobs in Texas, and North Dakota, and Oklahoma, and many other states. New Mexico, great state, great energy state it's become. And we saved that industry in a short period of time. And you know who helped us? Saudi Arabia and Russia. And then we got Mexico to do what they really had to do. And I want to thank the president of Mexico.
By the way, airline stocks are soaring today. No pun intended. American Airlines, last time I looked, was up like 40%. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know. Has anyone? I'm interested in flying places. Has anybody seen whether any airlines, any air flights have been clusters? Because hopefully, airlines are not as much of a hotspot as everyone thought they could be with the recycled air, et cetera, et cetera. So if anyone's read anything about that, please let me know.
He was terrific. In the end, he was terrific. But we saved the energy industry. That would have been catastrophic to lose it. And now it's up to almost $40 a barrel. And people would have said that's impossible. But we got Saudi Arabia,
still way too low
Russia,
to sustain,
and others to cut back very substantially. OPEC plus. We call it OPEC plus. But they were the leaders. And we appreciate that very much. Could I ask
OPEC
Kevin and Larry
plus.
to say a few words, please?
Oh, I'll be happy to say a few words. All right, here's the cud.
Thank you, sir. I'll be brief as I can. I know it's
no need to touch that
hot.
microphone.
I haven't noticed. Is it hot? Nobody hot.
You're pretty good at it. So, preceding this number were a number of green shoots, as we call them in economics or finance. And as the president has mentioned, things like Apple mobility, traveling indexes, the housing applications for new homes are skyrocketing. New businesses and new business applications are skyrocketing. So we've seen a lot of pieces of evidence. The key.
Yeah, because we hit pause for 3 months.
Key to today's number: 2.5 million payrolls and 3.8 million households from which the unemployment comes. The key is that those who were temporarily laid off have gone back to work, 3 million some odd.
Yeah.
And that's because of the reopening, and that's because of the success of the president and vice president's mitigation policies, which had to be taken. Now the reopening begins. Here's a footnote. At May 12th, for the week the survey was taken, a little less than 50% of small businesses had reopened.
Everything's skyrocketing compared to what it was when it wasn't happening at all. So if you're at 1% and you go to 4%, that's skyrocketing because your graph is going to look like it's going straight up. But again, we were at 3.5% unemployment. Now we're at 13.3% unemployment.
According to the Chamber of Commerce, the most recent number in late May, early June, 80%, 79%.
By the way, I won't say who, but somebody in this chat room here got told that their job is eliminated as of the end of June unless they can pick something else up. But she works for a contract company, and she's been told at the end of June, we don't have anything for you. So this is still happening. It's not a ripple effect. It's a tsunami effect in the economy. And some jobs will come back, like all of these are basic service jobs, manufacturing jobs, stuff like that, that halted and then came back. But in terms of new growth, we haven't seen that yet, and we don't know if we're going to see that for a long time. Plus, we haven't seen if things like the second wave happening in Arizona, etc., are going to affect those local economies. Because as numbers start increasing again, which they have in many areas, things have to be kept down.
And of small business have reopened. So we're going to see more continued progress in the June jobs numbers when they come out. And I want to add also, my friend and colleague, Secretary Steven Mnuchin's leadership on the payroll protection program has kept people on temporary call, have kept them furloughed, but they knew they were going to come back. The PPP has distributed $510 billion and has probably saved as much as 50 million jobs. And overall, we've extended tax rebates and other payments, 159 million Americans for nearly $275 billion. The rescue package works. It was the largest in American history. Now, we are seeing weekly unemployment claims coming down, continued claims coming down. The 13.3% unemployment rate has come down.
And I still haven't seen a penny from unemployment. I'm not alone. I know there's a lot of you that are in the same situation. March 15th, March 20, whatever it was that I actually applied for unemployment, April, May, June, coming up on 3 months. I have not seen a penny. So if you'd like to support me, go to kevinleefather.com. Become a patron.
And I think
I should get that money eventually, but not until they accuse me of fraud and I have to appeal. I'm sure that's going to happen.
As the president has noted, these trends will continue.
Here's the thing. If your last name is Williams, don't name your kid a common name like Kevin or Michael or John. Give them a really difficult name.
This was a sharp, tough, heartbreaking.
All right, enough of him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. And today is a historic day, but as you remind us, there's still a lot of work left to do.
Yes.
I never have a jobs number like what we saw today without the confidence that I think was generated by your leadership, Mr. Vice President, and Dr. Burks and the rest of her team.
So
thank you so much
don't
for
praise
service,
Pence. That's gonna make Trump upset.
We're going for a payroll tax cut.
Touches Mike needlessly
in terms of what we're doing, because again, we're going to be bigger, stronger, better than we ever were. That's going to be a tremendous incentive for businesses and also a great incentive, and maybe to me, most importantly, for the workers. So we're going to be asking for a payroll tax cut. We'll be asking for additional stimulus money, because once we get this going, it'll be far bigger and far better than we've ever seen in this country. That
There's one female up there, and I don't even know who it is.
When everyone thought it was great, and it was great. And
what?
we're going to get this going. It'll be far bigger and far better than we've ever seen in this country. That includes as of 3 or 4 months ago, when everyone thought it was great, and it was great. And we're going to be doing things for restaurants.
3 months ago, we were in a manufacturing contraction. Between 2018 and 2019, manufacturing jobs growth went down 200,000.
Restaurants and various pieces of the entertainment industry, which will be an incentive, whether it's deductions or whatever, but Steve Mnuchin's going to be working on that.
Name your kid something unique, but don't go Elon Musk on them.
Because the restaurants will be a little bit harder to come back. Although I must tell you, Mike, I've seen some tremendous numbers from restaurants. But we're looking at doing something in terms of an incentive with taxes. It could be deductions. It could be something else. But we'll be announcing it pretty soon. But we will be asking, despite the numbers and how good they are, because we will be so far ahead of everybody else if we do what we're doing. Our borrowing cost now is zero. So we're paying no interest, which is very good. And I just want to thank everybody. I'd like to ask Steve Mnuchin to say a few words, please.
Oh, we are not interested in that.
Oh,
no questions?
Thank you.
He doesn't take questions. Because he knows what questions are coming. That's it. He's just going to walk off. Okay, so no questions there. Just walk out, spew a bunch of nonsense, touch the mic needlessly, and walk away. So, hey, thanks everyone for joining me this morning. I'm going to roll the credits in a second here. I just woke up to this news as well as many of you, all my left coasters. What up? So I don't know what's going on today for the rest of the day. I know that Trump's scheduled to travel a bunch, I believe. Probably visiting a factory. Let's check that out together. Let's look at that. We'll look at his daily schedule here. What am I on? I'm on the wrong browser. Give me a moment, please. Let's bring this over here. So yeah, airline stocks soar 41% for no good reason. I love the Motley Fool. If you want to learn about stocks and stuff like that, and you have no idea how the market works, go to fool.com. It's a wonderful website. They walk you through all this stuff. And they have headlines like, stock just soared 41% for no good reason. Like, passengers aren't coming back yet. Like me, many are concerned. We don't know if it's a safe thing to do. And we don't want to infect our families. Okay. Bye, Barb. Thanks for joining us. What was I checking out? Oh, yeah, the president's schedule. Here we go. Where is it? Gone. I'm just going to type it in. Let's take a look at his schedule. The topics. I haven't done the Billy Joel thing in, almost a week, but I will do that probably later today. Rich, if you're watching, our sponsor, Rich Mac, we'll get to it. Let's see. President's public calendar. Today we are looking at, okay, so they already added in the news conference, so we saw that. And then the pool call time is actually after the news conference. So let's see. So at noon, these are Eastern time, we might have a helicopter moment. Then he goes to Joint Base. Then he goes to Bangor, Maine. Probably nothing there. He participates in a roundtable with supporting Americans commercial fishermen and signs a proclamation. A lot of proclamations today. What kind of proclamation is he going to sign with the fishermen? But, okay. Maybe he's going to go see the beneficiaries. So there's that, and then he'll come back tonight. No, wait. Then he's going to go to Guilford, Maine, and he's going to a high school. Okay. He's going to talk about medical products. He's going to talk about the medical at a high school. Then he comes back to Andrews, arrives at the White House about 7:30, so that's 4:30 left coast. So we might have quite a few helicopter moments today. We'll cover that if we feel like it. If C-SPAN cooperates, all the technicalities. Yeah, he's heading out in his RV. Thank you, Susan. Joanna in an RV. Again, the man of the people didn't know what you call an RV. Granted, he's like 25 years older than I am. I'm almost 50, and I forget words sometimes too. But RV, that's not even words. That's just 2 letters. RV. And you can call it other things, but trailer. You know, one of those driving trailers where you're in the trailer and it drives. It's a bigger version of that thing that you sit in and you go places in. They put it 4 or 5 people. Okay. Yeah, Jesus is in Maine. Jesus is everywhere, so he doesn't have to go anywhere. A flying RV. David, thank you. I don't know if he tweeted that, but he said it during the broadcast. He said this is a great day for George Floyd. He said it's a great day for everyone. So I don't know how much George is enjoying this day. I died before, and if my experience is anything like George is experiencing, George is not having a good day. This has been a terrible week for America. And it's continuing. And I hope it settles down soon, but hopefully things are changing. I say that every time we go through this. And here we have Trump in office. And keep in mind, with this unemployment rate, South Korea's unemployment rate is about 4.7 because they never shut down their entire economy because they tested and contained early. And when somebody had it, they said, go home and we will pay your salary. In fact, don't go home if there's anybody else there. We will put you up in a hotel and we will pay you to be in that hotel so that you don't infect everyone else so we don't have to shut down our economy. So, 13.3% unemployment. Yay! Yay for us. Yeah, it's been a tough 3 years, Cam. You're absolutely right. We will see you later on today. Here's the closing credits.